China just became the first country to mass-produce T1200 carbon fiber. 10 times stronger than steel, thinner than human hair. China's top graduates are abandoning tech and finance for manufacturing jobs at BYD and Huawei. And the country just posted a record trade surplus while investing $1 trillion in renewable energy. Let's get into it. China has become the first country to mass-produce T1200 grade carbon fiber. This is the strongest commercially available carbon fiber in the world, with a tensile strength exceeding 8 gigapascals. To put that in perspective, it's 10 times stronger than steel but only 1/4 the density. The fiber strands are 10 times thinner than a human hair. State-owned China National Building Material Group unveiled this at the JEC World Trade Show in Paris after 2 decades of research and development. They've set up a production line capable of 100 tons per year. To demonstrate the strength, researchers twisted 120,000 filaments into a rope less than 2 millimeters thick. That tiny cord was strong enough to tow a bus loaded with 54 adults. The manufacturing process involves pre-oxidizing fibers at 300 degrees Celsius, then carbonizing them at 2000 degrees. Japan's Toray Industries has been developing similar T1200 fiber, but China beat them to mass production. The material will be used in aerospace, defense, robotics, hydrogen storage tanks, electric vehicles, and the emerging drone industry. This matters because the high-end composites market has long been dominated by Japanese and American firms. China just took the lead. Something interesting is happening at China's most elite universities. The smartest graduates are abandoning tech and finance jobs for manufacturing. Employment data from Tsinghua University, China's equivalent of MIT, shows the number of graduates entering manufacturing and energy sectors rose 19% year over year. This trend has continued for 6 consecutive years. The top employers for this year's Tsinghua graduates include Huawei, BYD, State Grid Corporation, and China National Nuclear Corporation. These aren't traditional factory jobs. Experts say China's industrial sectors, especially semiconductors, electric vehicles, batteries, and renewable energy, have become highly technology-intensive. Young graduates now see them as opportunities to work on cutting-edge technologies rather than assembly lines. Meanwhile, hiring in the platform economy has slowed. Tech giants like Alibaba have cut their workforce by more than half, from 250,000 employees in 2022 to about 124,000 today. The nature of manufacturing has evolved as China upgrades its industrial base. Hardware and advanced manufacturing are no longer seen as low-skill industries but as high-tech innovation sectors involving robotics, semiconductors, and industrial AI. Government policy has helped reshape the landscape, with massive investment in strategic sectors. A government plan projects that nearly 30 million skilled manufacturing jobs could go unfilled by 2025. China's trade surplus just surged to its highest level on record. In January and February combined, the trade balance reached $213 billion, smashing expectations of $180 billion. Exports rose 21.8% year over year, tripling the 7% growth economists predicted. Imports also beat expectations, rising nearly 20%. While trade with the United States plunged 17% due to ongoing tariff tensions, China more than compensated by expanding trade with other regions. Trade with the European Union climbed 20% to about $145 billion. Trade with ASEAN rose 20% to reach $180 billion. The surprise was partly due to timing around the Lunar New Year holiday, but analysts say that doesn't fully explain the massive beat. The strong export performance, combined with Beijing's relatively low growth target of 4.5 to 5%, suggests additional stimulus is unlikely in the near term. Despite the trade war with Washington, China continues to demonstrate resilience. The data shows the world's second-largest economy is successfully diversifying its trading partnerships while maintaining manufacturing dominance. China invested $1 trillion in renewable energy in 2025 alone. The country generated 4 trillion kilowatt-hours from renewable sources, with another 26% increase expected this year. That output alone could supply about 35% of the entire European Union's electricity demand. The strategy is straightforward: keep using fossil fuels while rapidly building renewable capacity. This avoids the economic shock of an immediate transition. The results are striking. In just 2 years, the share of China's grid running on coal dropped from 60% to 51%. Nearly 40% of China's energy now comes from low-carbon sources like solar, wind, and hydro. China has 2.5 times the electricity generation capacity of the EU and USA combined, and that gap is widening. Solar panel production has increased 100 times since 2015, driving down manufacturing costs. The 2030 carbon emission targets were achieved last year, 5 years ahead of schedule. China's target of 80% non-carbon energy by 2060 is well ahead of pace. Last year, China reduced petrol and diesel consumption by nearly 6% through increased electric vehicle adoption. The end game is clear: energy independence through renewable infrastructure that no foreign power can sanction or control. The Trump administration is reportedly being paid $10 billion by investors as part of the deal to create a US-controlled version of TikTok. This transaction fee, described by Trump as a fee plus, will be paid by investors who took control of TikTok's US operations from ByteDance. The investors include Oracle, MGX from the UAE, and private equity firm Silver Lake. They paid $2.5 billion when the deal closed in January and will make further payments until reaching $10 billion. A government taking a transaction fee for a deal between private businesses is exceptionally rare. Investment bankers typically take around 1% in such deals. J.D. Vance has said the US version of TikTok is valued at about $14 billion. That means the government fee represents roughly 70% of the deal value, not 1%. Under the agreement, TikTok can fully operate in the US, but investors will share profits with ByteDance, the Chinese parent company. The arrangement highlights the unusual approach the Trump administration has taken with private sector deals, including taking stakes in companies like Intel. For China, TikTok remains partially connected through profit sharing, even as the US claims full operational control. Nexperia China has announced it has begun producing its own chips domestically. This marks another step in China's push for semiconductor independence. Nexperia, originally a Dutch company, has significant manufacturing operations in China. The move to domestic chip production is part of Beijing's broader strategy to reduce reliance on foreign semiconductor technology, particularly amid ongoing US export restrictions. China has been aggressively investing in its chip industry, pouring billions into fabrication facilities and talent development. While China still trails behind TSMC and Samsung in cutting-edge chip manufacturing, the country is making steady progress in mature node production. These chips are used in everything from electric vehicles to consumer electronics. Each announcement of domestic production capability represents one more link in China's semiconductor supply chain becoming self-sufficient. That's your China Tech Update. T1200 Carbon Fiber first to market. Top graduates choosing manufacturing over tech. Record trade surplus. $1 trillion in clean energy. And semiconductor production continuing to expand. If this is your first time here, subscribe for daily China Tech Updates. I'll see you in the next one.